Currently serve as the Director of Programs at the All Africa Conference of Churches, which speaks for nearly about 204 churches and councils in nearly 52 African countries with headquarters here in Nairobi. And I also coordinate the Africa Faith Actors Network for Climate Justice, which at the moment religious leaders from nearly 28 African countries are gathered at the moment, having a pre-summit. And we have been actively involved where we represent the faith communities and the so-called non-state actors. Why did I say so-called? Because we treat ourselves not as non-state actors, but as citizens of Africa, and giving face to the entire conversation. And as faith leaders, we have cried out openly on behalf of men, women, children, the indigenous people, because we see ourselves as the first respondents. Go to communities where there is no government presence, you will find religious presence there. So we are the first respondents, and we say that matters of climate change cannot be politicized, cannot be reduced to economies, cannot be commodified, cannot be objectified, and must be treated as a matter of life and death. So it brings in the question of inclusive justice. And because we believe, and we have a slogan, as faith communities, we say the welfare of the earth is our welfare. Now, how you treat the earth, so also the earth will treat you. We are reminded that as people, as government, we have a responsibility for stewardship, for accountability. And we cannot, as religious people, as part of the non-state actors' constituency, be conscripted to silence. We cannot buy into any narrative that endangered at the detriment of our people. Because what we are experiencing now, leading to the Africa Climate Summit, we are seeing a narrative around the recolonization of Africa. Now, a lot of issues have been raised about adaptation fund. We celebrated recently, last year, just at Sharm el-Sheikh, where loss and damage fund was established. But the operationalization mechanism has not been put in place. And the next moment we hear about issues coming out of Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. It was agreed that 100 billion will be contributed every year from the Paris Agreement. From then to now, have we realized even $100 billion? We see deceit, we see lies, we see hypocrisy. And therefore, we are saying any narrative, and now carbon market is being dangled to our heads of state as if this is the solution. And as religious people, we are saying no. Let's look at what are the African aspirations and expectations. The chair of United Cities and local government have mentioned it very clearly. We're talking about adaptation, resilience, we're talking about loss and damage. Those who are responsible for the damages we are experiencing must be called to account, must be asked to account for it. If it is reparation, they have to repatriate, they have to pay. And this has to be said. That is why we are here. We embody all, including indigenous people, mothers, daughters, children, all those who are affected. Today they are lamenting. And so we cannot bring cosmetic and say, oh, shares, we have to take shared responsibility. No! Some must take higher responsibility because they have been responsible for the devastation we are experiencing today. And Africa contributes less than 4% to the greenhouse emission. And yet we are expected to bear the brunt. And so as religious communities, we are saying no to any narrative that will seem to suggest compromise. Our heads of states, those with responsibility, the parliamentarian is here, Esther Passaris, we have followed your engagement and we are saying do more. Use your instrument of oversight, legislation, and representation to hold the executive